No monitor, no keyboard, no mouse, and in a few minutes you'll have your Raspberry Pi 5 fully set up and controlled from your PC. This Raspberry Pi 5 has never been connected to a screen. I'm going to show you how to fully set up and control a Raspberry Pi 5 from your Windows PC using SSH and VNC. Let's begin. This SD card is what your Raspberry Pi is going to boot from. It basically acts like the Pi's hard drive. To do that, we're going to go ahead and use a tool called Raspberry Pi Imager. It downloads the OS and it writes directly to the SD card for us. So we're going to go to raspberrypi.com/software and download the Raspberry Pi Imager for our system. Once it installs, we're going to open up the Raspberry Pi Imager app on our computer, and now we should be able to download the Raspberry Pi operating system and install it directly to our SD card and basically turn the card into a bootable drive for our Raspberry Pi. Now I'm using a Raspberry Pi 5, so I'm going to go ahead and select Raspberry Pi 5 right here. And what you'll notice is that it walks you through selecting the Pi model, the operating system, and all that automatically. And here I'm going to select 64-bit Trixie OS. And there are other options on here, but today we're just going to install the operating system. So let's go ahead and download this. And once we click next, your storage device should pop up here. And once it's identified my 32 gigabyte SD card, I'll go ahead and select that. Since we're only installing this on the SD card, make sure that you have exclude system drives checked. Let's go ahead and click next, and then here you're going to enter your host name. This is an older host name, so I'm going to create a new host name. Let's go ahead and delete this one. And I'll create a new name, let's say Pi Boy. Yeah, that's good for this demonstration. After that, I'm going to click next. I'm going to verify all this information is true. I'm going to click next. Here I'm going to enter a new username and also give it a password and confirm password. So I'm going to delete this and I'll go with Pi Boy Lab as my username. Once I've created a password and confirmed it, we're going to click next, and this is where we're going to set up our Wi-Fi. Once you've typed in your Wi-Fi credentials, we're going to move to the next screen where you enable SSH, and this is an important step if you want to use Raspberry Pi without a dedicated monitor. Now I don't want to enable Raspberry Pi Connect yet. We won't do that right now, maybe another day. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that off. Now we're going to verify that all the information is correct so far, and we're going to click on write. It's going to give us a warning saying it's going to erase all the data on your storage. And once you click I understand, it's going to start to write to your SD card. If we fast forward a little bit, now we're done writing the image to our SD card, and here it'll tell you every customization that you've added. Make sure it has SSH enabled and of course Wi-Fi configured. Now it's time to put it in our Raspberry Pi. Now I'm going to remove the SD card from the computer. I'm going to place it in the Raspberry Pi. I'm going to put the Pi in the case here. Once I do that, I'm going to plug the power cord into the Raspberry Pi, and I'm done. The first thing you want to do once you turn your Raspberry Pi on is go to the desktop, go down to the search bar, type in command prompt, and this will bring up your Windows command line. Type this command exactly as you see it to get your Raspberry Pi's IP address. If you recall in the setup, I created the hostname PiBoy, so mine would look like this. In the reply, it should show you the Raspberry Pi IP address here, and that's the IP address you'll need to SSH into your Raspberry Pi from your Windows desktop. I created the username PiBoy Lab in the setup, and we're going to use that in our SSH command to connect to the Raspberry Pi. Okay, our command will be SSH PiBoy Lab, our username, at the Raspberry Pi IP address, and then we'll need to type in our password. Remember, after we created a username, we created a password. We'll type that in here, and apparently I got it wrong. You can actually get it wrong 3 times before it kicks you out. So now we're into the Raspberry Pi, and from here I can do a lot of stuff. I can do system updates and management. I can program and run projects. I can control GPIO pins. But if you want a GUI or a graphical user interface, let's go ahead and set that up. Minimize the window PowerShell and open up your web browser. We're going to go to realvnc.com. We're going to download Real VNC Viewer for Windows. Now we're going to open the app, and if you've connected a device before, you're going to see it down here in this field. And if that's the case, you can just double click it, but we haven't added this particular Raspberry Pi yet, so we're going to type in the IP address here. Since it's the first time we're connecting this Raspberry Pi, it doesn't recognize it, so we get an identity check. Go ahead and click continue. Next, we get another authentication screen where we type in the Raspberry Pi username and password. And once we do that, we'll have access to the GUI. And just like that, we're looking at the full Raspberry Pi desktop. It's completely over the network with no monitor connected. I can interact with it just like a normal computer. I can open applications and manage everything remotely. So if this is what you're looking for, this is how you do it. But the other option is to use Raspberry Pi entirely from the command line using SSH, which is how a lot of projects run without ever needing a desktop. And to show this in action, I'm going to close out the VNC Viewer, and I'm going to control an LED connected to GPIO 17 directly from the command line. The first thing I'm going to do is put together a simple LED circuit to connect to my Raspberry Pi header. Here's a pinout of the Raspberry Pi 5 with some of the functionalities on each pin. And here's a numbered diagram of the 40-pin header. This diagram shows what's happening inside the Raspberry Pi's GPIO pin. It's not the external circuit, but it's the internal electronics that control how the pin sends and receives signals. The Pi 5 GPIO supports up to 12 milliamps of drive strength, but you shouldn't run it that high. You stick to around 5 to 8 milliamps. This is fine for LEDs, but for anything else bigger, use a transistor. For the setup, the 220 or 330 ohm resistor is fine. Both will put the pin below 8 milliamps. So now once the circuit's connected, we plug the Raspberry Pi in. We go back to the command prompt where we SSH'd into the Raspberry Pi. I'm going to open the Python directly in the terminal and control the GPIO from here. I'll import the GPIO library, I'll set up the GPIO 17 as an LED, and then I'll run a loop to turn it on and off every second. Since we're using the interactive Python shell, it lets me run the code line by line, and that's useful because we can see the LED turn on and off as it begins to scroll. And this is great for testing, but for real projects, you'd save this as a script so it can run automatically. And after I press enter, you can see the LED on-off script in real time as the LED here is turned on and off. There it is. The items used in this video included Raspberry Pi 5, a 220 ohm resistor, a breadboard, a 5mm LED, a 32GB micro SD card, and some jumper wires. If you found this helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. Also consider joining the email list. Details are in the description. It's really the best way to get the program files out there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again with another video.